Good evening. It is 6:30 on the 10th of November, 2025. Calling the order of the City of Franklin Parks and Environmental Commission. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Yes, Jesse will be late.
You can mark him excused.
Oh, excused until he comes in. Then we have Vice Chair Jason Craig.
Here.
Myself, Susan Lance, Commissioner Stanley.
Here.
Commissioner Remington.
Here.
Commissioner Seraphin.
Here.
And Mike Wrench is excused, or is he coming back? And non-voting member Leah Boss, not here.
Excused.
Excused. And we have non-voting member ex officio Michelle Rente.
Here.
And Kevin Schlater,
Here.
Principal Planner X.
Here.
Dale is
He's
excused. Okay.
Very good. We have quorum. At this time, we'll open things up for citizen comment period. I'm sorry. Rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Citizen comment period. Any citizen wishing to address this commission, please feel free to do so at this time. Seeing no one, I will close citizen comment period at 6:32 p.m. Moving on to the approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting from the 13th of October, 2025?
I have one change. I noticed it is under littering fines. It says the letter will be sent to the businesses as noted in the August 14th, 2024 email. It should say 2025.
Any other corrections that need to be made?
I'm making a motion to approve the minutes with the one correction.
I saw.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 4, unfinished business. Update on park maintenance.
We're just doing a general year-end cleanup and closing them down for the winter.
Very good. Any questions for Schlicht?
I had reached out to Chairman Valdez to ask, request that item new business D be moved to the Parks Maintenance report, just to let you know, and he approved that.
My email. I haven't been here to get updated IT, so I'm.
We're all on that boat.
Yeah, Marion was.
Yeah, if the chair pleases.
Please.
Okay. Right. But I think Kristen had.
Yeah, is Ken Wendell, I saw it was closed. There's like a problem at Ken Wendell. Maybe
And Wendell, yeah, we have some maintenance, beer maintenance over there. I don't want to much, but so until that work is done, I feel it's safe.
the whole park or
No, just the rental.
the rental area.
So that little house.
The little rental in the corner there.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry.
All right.
What are we moving to?
Are you finished?
Nope.
Are you all
We
finished?
bumped Kayla's playground to be as part of the update on park.
Oh, under new business? Okay.
Correct.
There it is.
It's at the very end.
At the very end. Okay.
Yeah, it was the last.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So you did receive it in your packet, the information about the tiles. The reason I brought it to the commission is that third party that we have for donation. So I think we just, is an informational thing. Currently, the tiles that are out there now look like this. This wasn't out there, but in 2023, I actually redid all of the tiles with some community members and some volunteers. We put an anti-graffiti on top of it, but since then, it's really wearing. So I took it upon myself to look at other avenues for no maintenance going forward. Connected. Oh, here we go. So you can see some of the on the left-hand side there. It was really grimy. We had a silicone overcoat of that, and the dust just got in there and caught in there over a period of years. We built in 2015. 2023, I was pretty happy with the way that it, 8 years that it had that time frame that we had to repaint them. Gave them some touch-ups, put a different coating for the graffiti, anti-graffiti on there. But long term, I think it's just gonna, with the seasons and everything, just thinking about no maintenance option. So I reached out to the high school and connected with Sasha here, who's here this evening. And we brainstormed and came up with options for tiles that they can glaze, it can rain, it can snow, and all the different glazes that could go on there. It'll be part of the curriculum for the students to actually submit artwork to be approved, for us to approve that artwork. And then upon approval, they can go ahead and do the tiles and then place them up there.
Is that ceramic? Ceramic?
I'm sorry.
Ceramic?
What is the technical?
Yeah, it's ceramic. It's a kind of high fire stoneware. So it's got a 2% absorption rate, which is good for rain and snow and the elements. The texture of it is grog, which basically makes it moisture resistant, so it should be able to hold up to the weather. And then the ceramic glaze on top of that is basically like melted glass, so that will also seal it, like plates or something like that. So food, or not food, but whether things can't get into it, which will just make sure that we don't see any of that like dirt or grime build up on there.
This one? A little thinner. It weighs less, actually, than what's out there. That's not a tile, though. That's MDF board.
Is it elementary students that?
6th grade students.
Yep. So I work at the middle and high school, but this project, I work more primarily at the middle school. So my 6th grade students will be designing and painting the house.
At the middle school. Nice.
Yep.
And the glass coating then is also then to handle the anti-graffiti side of it as well, where like spray paint, stuff like that won't adhere to the tiles?
It will adhere, but we'll be able to get it off. Because it's basically just like glass, so if you take anything like hand sanitizer, it will come right off.
Okay.
Yep, so, because it's not tacky, it's very smooth. So, it'll be able to just come off with any kind of cleaner.
Great.
Any other questions?
I would just, if I could have your name for the minutes.
Sasha McGilton. M capital GILO.
What will you do with the old tiles?
That is yet to be determined. I maybe put a post out asking if anyone wanted to come and get their tiles. They can have a little piece of playground or I don't know.
I think that's a great thing.
I was thinking we'll get that back.
Yeah.
How long have they been up there?
Since 2015. Yeah. Yeah, or even at the library if we could have a wall at the library that community comment. I don't know. That's the next.
Make trivets on them.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And they would be installed next spring. This is part of the next semester curriculum. So give a little question.
I guess, is that this, just out of curiosity, is that the cycle then? They lap, every 10 years, you're going to have a new student do a art pro, win the thing to be able to.
I don't
Oh, I didn't know if
theory-
that was like a plan or why 2015 to now, or is it just?
They say the composite decking can last 27 years to 30 years, but you know, if the longevity of these, why take them down if if it's not broken, fix it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not tied to, but as needed, yeah.
Yeah.
And the ABC tiles by the pergola will also be done. So.
Fantastic.
All right, great, awesome, thank you.
Moving on to community event engagement. So Arbor Day?
There, in your packet is a request from the Milwaukee Area Land Conservancy to join you at Arbor Day. They were curious if that was something that you'd be comfortable with, so the request is before you this evening. In general, like if you want to open the event up, I know a lot of other community organizations have participated in the past. So I'm happy to connect whoever wants to lead. Folks from all can probably already know them, but
Yeah, I would volunteer to take the lead on that. That's Annie, my neighbor, who sent the email to Marion and I. But we've done Arbor Day, and yeah,
I think that'd be great.
I do too.
Where you have more exposure to different things, I think is always a positive thing. And as I've been part of this and with the Arbor Day, where we've had other faces and organizations part of it, I think kind of gives a little bit more visibility to Wild Ones, MMSD. I think it's always been a fantastic event overall.
I mean, on that note, and on your comment, should we offer to open it up to other organizations in some way? Or just wait for them to contact us? We also were contacted by, was it Weir Nature Center that? Weir Nature Center this past year, and by the time we got reconnected with them, because they were trying to contact Joan, it was too late to put anything together.
I think very much like what we've started doing of being more forward thinking in terms of it, and as opposed to being kind of putting it together last minute. I would be very much open to having more, entities being part of this, growing the Arbor Day event as a whole. I know we've always had really good participation from the community. Everyone will stand in line for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, if we can open things up, or at least start conversations, so that way we can have it in place before, Arbor Day rolls around. I think that'd be.
Okay. Well, I would volunteer to respond to the email and let them know. And then I know that you and I, Marion, have that woman's address from Weir when she was trying to reach out, and she did talk with Tom Forrester,
okay.
I think, and it was just too late to put anything. So I have those two already. We had the not MMSD, but the Southwest Water. What's that?
CPAC?
Yeah. What's the acronym?
Southwest Wisconsin Land Commission?
No.
I don't know. Might have been
It's-
Ruth Pike Wynn.
Southwest
That's-
Wisconsin.
It's the stormwater people.
They were at National Night Out.
It is
right?
MMSD?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
MMSD did a table there at one point, and
Yep.
they did the
Rain
sign
Barrel.
up for Rain Barrel.
Oh,
We
yeah.
could, so I could contact those three
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
And then if anybody has any other, because I think it would be good, like, we have a very large audience that already comes to get the free trees. So any additional environmental activities would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do those maps like you had at Trick or Treat. We could do something with more with parks too, not just environmental at that table.
Would be a good place to talk about conservation.
And probably the buckthorn removal that DPW's already been working on, or forestry department, you know, because people seem to be unaware of that. If the biggest activist that we have in this community is unaware of it, and we weren't even aware of it, we should do something with that. So, okay.
So you're gonna contact MALC, MMSD, and what was the third one?
We're Nature Center.
Here,
Oh, Weir.
yeah. And just
About
invite them to
participating.
participate in the Arbor Day. Do we have a date?
We didn't he say?
We should, but I
Didn't he say the last time? Was it May 2nd?
May
The first?
or
It's usually the first Saturday
It would be the second.
May 2nd.
First Saturday in May.
And we did 9 o'clock. Is that what we did? What did we do?
9 sounds right.
Or was it 10? At what time did it start?
No, it had to be 9 because I had to get up.
Okay. I should probably contact the library too then, just to let them know that we're going to invite other, well, it takes place at the library. Okay.
If you'd like to, I can talk to, I'm on the library board. Oh.
Yeah, either way, I'm there every Friday yoga, and I see her. I mean, 12. And both of us could probably say first.
Sure. With library board,
How did Trunk or Treat go?
Trick or treat went good. Yeah, they said up to 2,000 people participated, and we were busy the whole night, and we had a great little display that was teaching about keeping our parks clean, and had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, I felt. Yeah. Good.
my neighbors were.
My neighbor was
All of us were, everybody here participated. I mean,
Yeah.
Kristen did the heavy lift, but
Yeah.
everybody showed up and volunteered.
And
so
the display looked fantastic.
it did. It was
Yeah, it
great.
did.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
The
My-
spot was a little weird
They put that on me
at the last minute.
when I got there. They said, "We have this great place for you. You're right at the end." And then I was expecting to be in 2 vertical parking spots, and they had me on a horizontal at the end of the parking lot. So I luckily am an Air Force veteran, and flexibility is the key to air power. So I was able to change the plan, and it turned out great. So good. Thank you, everybody, for helping out.
Thank you for taking
Sure,
the lead
yeah.
on that. That was fantastic.
Cool.
Anything else for community event engagement? Moving on to discussion of combined Parks and Environmental Commission. Scope and purpose of combined commissions, including area policy oversight, role in park administration, land conservation, and natural resource protection.
Yep, so in your packet, to answer the first question, the commission's name is the Parks Commission. And that was part of how this went through Common Council. It's something that if you're not comfortable with that, you could request to update the municipal code to correctly reflect the full scope of the board's role, but as this kind of went through, it didn't get captured during that process at the time. So the Chapter 10 is what regulates boards and commissions, and then you have this section about your powers and duties, so that was included in your packet. Just generally speaking, this is what the municipal code says, is your set of responsibilities to appoint agents and employees subject to approval, to supervise city parks and recreation programs, subject to mayor and council supervision, to make reports and recommendations, including budgetary items to the mayor and to the common council, and then wrapping in the duties of environmental commission, reviewing and recommending policies and procedures relating to recycling and composting, environmental issues of concern, monitoring federal and state laws, the citizen engagement kinds of things that you're doing, etc. So, and then there's also, I think it's important to know that your commission is empowered by state law as well, and so I included the city park boards and powers in your packet for you to review. Just in general, that in theory you have oversight of the operations and maintenance of the parks, and how their budget proceeds and how decisions are made about the types of equipment that go there, etc. How that's played out in Franklin has been a little bit less direct, but this is what the state law empowers you to do. So this is kind of the totality of what the ordinances say. What your role is in terms of the actual city. So you asked for the org chart. And this is kind of the structure of the city in terms of how operations work and how the structure of both the legislative portion of the city and the administrative portion, what staff does, is structured. So citizens elect legislative bodies. The Common Council empowers boards and commissions through the municipal code and through directions and activity that they give you. And then the mayor is sort of the chief administrator here in Franklin, so that's something that varies among communities. But Franklin, it's more of a strong mayor kind of model where the mayor is responsible for administration of the city as opposed to a city administrator. And so all of these different departments report to the mayor. I am under the planning manager, so your administrative rules, which are like an administrative document that the Common Council adopts, specify that the planning manager is actually the responsible party for this commission, for the staffing and maintenance of the commission. So we're responsible, like we are for several other boards and commissions, for maintaining your records, and generally just staffing the commission in kind of an administrative role, distributing packets and etc. So that's what we do. And then there's also the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. So that is a piece of a master plan for the whole city that talks about land use and how each part of the city is proposed to be developed or not developed in the future, and how all of the city will look kind of, it looks over a 10-year time horizon, but is broadly out into the future. And so the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan is a piece of that, and the planning staff is responsible for the implementation of that through the various processes that would get you to things like purchasing a park, doing a site plan, the zoning of land. If a development is proposed, are they doing dedication to the city, etc. So that's my role. DPW, Kevin can talk more about what his role is, but broadly speaking, they're responsible for the physical management of the parks, and then the clerk's office does the permitting. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add, Kevin, but this is kind of the city's structure. And I, as a planner, I'm the staffer for this commission as a delegate of the planning manager, and also the administrator of the comprehensive outdoor recreation. So.
Very good.
Yep. So that's kind of what on paper is your scope.
Question.
And that's the information that I have for you this. So I'm happy to answer other questions or, try to get more information for you as desired. But I haven't really had a chance to engage with the state law beyond pulling it for you. So that's kind of where we are.
So, where do special or natural resource exception, I guess, oversight, how does that fall into what this org chart and what we're looking at?
A natural resource special exception is a variance. It's a type of legislative decision. So it's here. It's under that elected process, and then the Common Council delegates powers to boards and commissions. So the most common variance process is through the Board of Zoning Appeals. Plan Commission also has variances that come before them, and then you guys are a reviewing body on those natural special exceptions, and Plan Commission. So they're a delegate of Common Council.
Planning Commission is the decider.
So it's here.
Oh,
Okay. So, I hate to ask you to do more work, but one thing that would be helpful to me then would be to see you have a Common Council, then your little box under boards and commissions, and then if you could split out the boards and commissions and then at least list like our responsibilities and then the deciding commission for anything that this particular group has to review or be a part of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that and I don't think that's too, I mean, in a month, if we could not get that, then that would help me also. I think everybody understand like what we're responsible for as a reviewer, but then who ultimately this goes to for decision making and stuff like that. And I think that that's the other piece that I'd like to see in there in this type of a visual is like if I think about a natural resource special exception, when it shows up here, this is the first commission that it is its reviewer. Mm-hmm. But before it comes to this commission, the person who's submitting and requesting it has to first get approval from the city planner, right? So when they come to us, all of the basic requirement, not all of, or not the basic, but all the requirements to be considered for a special exception, like should be checked off that yes, this meets that, or we should not even have to look at it. And that is one thing that's not happened. It did not happen with the school. And we're in a mess now. And we maybe could have avoided, we can't go backward, but let's not do this. We could have avoided having to have that hard meeting where we sent him back 2 times or 3 times from this commission with the school board because the basic requirements for a natural resource special exception were not met. And the first one was clear, and then it went back to planning, and then it ended up still getting pushed through. So this is great, but what's more important, like the devil is in those details. Mm-hmm. That's where that devil is. And we have to see that, and as a commission understand that, to be able to, make sure people who want a special exception to an ordinance, they're asking for something above and beyond what we normally have agreed as a city we will allow. There is a set of criteria, and if they're not meeting those basic criteria, before they come before any board or commission, it is our planner's job to send that back and go, you have, you need to fix these things before we can put it in an agenda.
Wasn't that basically the spreadsheet we're asking for last time?
That's what I was asking
We
for.
were gonna get.
That's what I was specifically, and so this is kind of how I think Marion's interpret what I asked for, and that this is what I'm driving down.
So spreadsheet of their duties?
I asked for a flow chart last time of how that all works.
I agree. The Common Council meeting minutes from when they merged the parks and environmental outlined some of the responsibilities that would be detailed to us. And then going through the first environmental heavy ask of this commission, it didn't make sense to me why those were in our commission. Why didn't they just put them to plans? Because like you said, that should have been decided at the planning commission before it came to us for review to have been already meeting all of the requirements, right? So my thing was like, if you've merged them, there's no state requirement to have an environmental commission. Why even put those detailed items into our planning commission? You could just put them into our parks commission. You could just put them into the planning commission.
That is another option.
Yeah, I mean, the way that it's currently structured, a planner reviews the application for compliance with the ordinances. That situation was a little bit unique because the application was submitted like right at the crossing line of
Yeah.
the old versus new UDO. I think that created a lot of complexity. But so the planner reviews it and then it comes to you for a recommendation, based on, do you think as residents, is this reasonable? Part of your community, is this a reasonable ask? Based on the criteria, and it moves forward for decision. So just to clarify that that's kind of how that works. I don't know exactly how it would work to flip the order. There is also a public hearing.
I'm not asking to flip the order. That might be Commissioner Stanley's request. That's not my request. My request is to say that before it comes to this commission, as the first commission, to review a natural resource special exception, if those criteria for that are not met, it should not come to us. And in my opinion, that did not just happen the first time where they used both an old ordinance and a new ordinance, depending on what was the most convenient for the school. Mm-hmm. It happened another time, which was the second or third time they came to us. Actually, it happened, I can't remember. Anyway, where if you look at the requirements in the ordinance, it cannot be a self-imposed problem. And that, whether it is or not, whether we agree about whether that was self-imposed, that the fact that they had signed a conservation easement, the school board, then the school board turns around and says, we don't want to honor that. We now want to use that land. We're all smart people. If that is not self-imposed, I do not know what is. And to say, well, I wasn't the school board representative at the time, well, no, duh. It doesn't, that's, to me, that's a false argument. But that particular issue, whether or not they met, this is self-imposed or is not self-imposed, should have been something that I would think the city planner would say, I can't say that you did. I cannot check this box. Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Attorney, we need to sit down and have a conversation. Do we need a legal ruling on what is self-imposed? Blah, blah, blah. That, and deal with all of that before it even came to us. Or any time they can't clearly check every box on here, they've met every requirement, that's when the city planner should be going to these paid people or the mayor and saying, I need your ruling on, did they meet this requirement? Not should we approve it or not, but do they even meet the requirement to entertain improving it? That's where I'm coming from.
There's also a thought too that the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, is the school board also required to be in alignment with our city plan for that? And was that, are these projects being reviewed and aligned with the city? Because as we know, the school and the city are separate bodies.
But my understanding, and this would be something that maybe we need a city planner checklist before they can pass a natural resource conservation exception to a council, is does it fit in with the corp? Because I think the corp is state law. That if it's in the corp, it's the law. We have to follow that, right, Marion?
Yeah, the corp is a policy about land use specific to the recreation lands for the city, but then
Right.
the comprehensive master plan is the kind of big plan that's a part of. So yes, it has to fit within those policies.
But there is legal binding behind the master plan, and in the master plan, the corp as it relates to the recreational use of the properties that we're talking about, right? Or areas, the natural resource protected areas that we're talking about. So when a city planner looks at a natural resource exception request, it should fit in with the corp. That should be a check that it should fit in with the master plan, and it should fit in with everything in the comprehensive outdoor recreational plan. And if it does not, then it shouldn't even come to the council, to us. We shouldn't have to deal with, those things should be dealt at a much higher level than this. And, whether they're being passed here because somebody's not paying attention to that or doesn't care, or it's outdated or whatever, I could care less, but it needs to stop happening, because it's been a disaster for us, in my opinion. This last summer was really hard to deal with, all these meetings and all of this, controversy. And I do think that we can, hindsight's 2020, but I do think we could avoid a lot of it if the legality and the requirements are looked at ahead of time. I yield.
And I was going to ask the same question that Commissioner, like, how does the recreation plan, how does that kind of overlay with whatever the school district is planning in that regard? Because I know there was at some point, like, disc golf was a thing, and there was talk of where city would develop a disc golf course, and so was the school district was also kind of kicking around that idea, and it was one of those things where, hey, you're doing this, and it didn't make sense, broad speaking, that, well, two entities are going to have a duplication of efforts, and is that the best usage of everyone's resources, time, money, effort, things of that nature?
Yeah. So unfortunately, there hasn't been a history of a lot of coordination between the city, the municipality, and any of the school districts in terms of how all of that planning occurred. So they're happening kind of in isolation from each other, and the corp is supposed to be a tool that enables funding requests. So we're supposed to be able to qualify for certain kinds of grants if we have this land use policy adopted, and it enables the implementation of impact. But that has occurred separately from the school district. So we could theoretically collaborate on projects together if there was their plan and our plan somehow aligned. But this plan, it includes schools and their recreation spaces as like public recreation spaces on this map. So the map that you're seeing here is what's the future land use map in that comprehensive master plan. And then the dotted lines are service areas around different types of parks. So you can kind of see roughly the coverage that different parts of the city get for recreational land use. And our goal for when we do get to actually work on the comp plan is to make sure that we're incorporating all of that kind of, all of those stakeholders. But under the current plan, apart from acknowledging the existing facilities at the time that the plan was drafted, there wasn't like a direct level of coordination. So we're getting things like football courts at the rec center, that and what is it, little soccer things. Those things were not even in this plan, because at the time pickleball was not really a sport that was in the public consciousness when it was drafted. So there have been some amendments to this plan. So Kayla's Playground was one of those amendments, because in order to build the park, it has to have been part of this plan to kind of keep the resources for that. But that's actually the most recent amendment to the plan that occurred. And really, you can see it's due for an update. We've started preliminary work on the comprehensive master plan. So that project is essentially figuring out the demography and then doing some projections out into the future for population, land use, commercial growth, all of those kinds of things, and then bringing that information to the community to say, well, what do you want your, and that includes recreational and natural resource land use, so which is your scope. So yeah, so this is kind of how that layers together. The comp plan is like the big policy. And this, if you look at the zoning map, it's not a one-to-one match, but the land use, if the land use is something, then the future of that property, if someone wanted to rezone it or change the land use, it would have to align with that. So there's been some cases where we've amended this map for individual developments, Costco being the most recent example, but just in general, kind of how that all fits together is like, this is what is underneath the zoning, and the corp is a piece of it. So all of the green is either recreational or natural resource lands, owned by the city, owned by the county. I think there's any state park? No, the DNR owns some land in the city, but it's not really accessible to people.
Then I had one other question, especially regarding NRSEs. So you've heard me kind of go on about this in council, about artificial wetlands and the fact that they are not protected. Is that state law? Is that a municipal ordinance? Like, how does that, like, who kind of governs that sort of aspect of NRSE?
So the previous unified, so there's kind of two pieces to answer the question. So when you layer together all of the jurisdictions that have review over water resources, what you're specifically asking about, that includes the federal government, in most cases the Army Corps of Engineers, the DNR, which is the state's environmental regulatory agency, local ordinance has its own rules. They're allowed to be more restrictive than any of those other agencies in some areas. So Franklin does have one of the most kind of, not prohibitive, but ordinances that are attempting to manage how land use and how wetlands are treated locally in a way that's different from a lot of other ways they defer that to. So with artificial wetlands, it's a review by the DNR is the most common kind of result that we see for that, where they look at the history of the wetland and say it didn't exist before a certain date. It was created, by changes to the grading, changes to, the features around that area. And as a result of those changes, came into existence. So, and we do not have jurisdiction over it as a result. Just don't view it as a wetland at all. The Army Corps, their regulations have changed a lot, and they're in flux constantly due to stuff happening at the federal level, both in the judiciary and at the legislative level. So I can't definitively answer, but in general, if a wetland is connected to a river or a lake, then they will take jurisdiction, and then it would not be considered artificial. It doesn't matter what the DNR says. Franklin, under the old ordinance, if those two other agencies declared it artificial, then we would also declare it artificial and not regulate it. So we would require that they be shown on that natural resource protection plan drawing that is received. But we weren't enforcing any of the requirements related to that or any of the related setbacks and buffers. Under the new ordinance, we do actually have some requirements for compensation for artificial wetlands. So if an artificial wetland, is to be impacted on a habitat loss, regardless of the age of it, that habitat loss is occurring, it is possible to review that now as a plan commission review. So because it's not considered jurisdictional by the other two agencies, our local ordinances now say we expect you to compensate for the habitat loss with additional landscaping, infrastructure, etc. That can occur without a variance as part of a site. And so that actually happened. You don't have an NRSC on your agenda today because that actually happened with one of the applications that was before the Plan Commission recently, where as I was reviewing it, I realized that they don't actually have NRSC because in that case, their impacts were to wetland buffer. So they have provided the compensation is required under the ordinance and no further review is required. So if they were to directly impact the wetland, then it would come before you. And they decided not to do that, and so it wasn't necessary. But yeah, so Franklin does protect artificial wetlands, but other units of government do not. So that's a short answer.
Very good. Anyone else with questions?
Not with that, but with the name, okay. There is still a link to the Environmental Commission.
Mm-hmm.
So are they going to say Sea Parks Commission or?
Yeah, there is actually, I don't remember exactly the wording we put on it, but there is a link to the Parks Commission website, or there should be a portion of the website from there, but we can't eliminate that portion of the website because it's part of the legislative record of the city.
I just wondered if it was pushing them somewhere else to go to look for information.
I'm 85% sure that I asked for that change to the website, but I will follow up because that's.
But at the same time, IT is also doing the Microsoft 365.
I mean, I asked for it months ago.
Oh.
I know I did ask for it. I don't remember what the result was, so. Sorry.
Oh.
Well, it does say, please see Parks Commission going forward
Yes.
as of May of 2025.
Yep. And because the decisions of that commission are part of the legislative record of
Sure.
various, actually
Okay.
other policies that have to be.
Anything else? All right. Moving on to littering fines.
What about
Oh, I'm sorry.
finances?
I'm sorry. Review of park plans and finances.
Well,
Unfortunately,
Well, I was going to say, we just did discussion of combined parks and environmental. And I have next commission rules and procedures. Or is that part of what we? That was okay. I just had it all under one. Review of commission recommendation for NR. I'm there.
yep, and I had hoped to deliver new draft forms for this to you, but because that NRSE got eliminated from the docket, I didn't get a chance to work on it. That were pressing. So I will try to have them for you at your next meeting. I do anticipate you'll have another NRSE up in the next meeting. So yeah, I will have them to you hopefully before that.
Ooh.
Is it Ollie?
No, I actually am not. I'm not the planner reviewing that, so I'm not totally sure. I had thought they were able to go through that site plan approval as well, but it seems like I don't know what the outcome of that is. So I'm another planner's. But if you guys have questions about specific applications, I'm not gonna have them. Yeah, so I owe you guys that. And then, unfortunately, because of the timing of the budget, we don't have financial information updates for you at this meeting, but I've been promised them for.
Promise what?
The financial item 3 under this,
Yeah.
the financial information. We'll have for December.
Oh, December, I thought you said the.
I mean, I really.
We've been waiting since before summer.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's not something that I can, use her. But I'm hoping to have an update for you. So one of the things that will be happening in the relatively near future is there should be a revision of the impact fee study. So the citywide impact fee study, where those fees are assessed on new development, is conducted by a contractor, and the park impact fees are part of that. So we'll see an update to how far along in terms of collecting those fees. I can tell you that we did have a meeting about the park finances in order to prepare materials for you, and we're current on impact fee usage. We're not looking at like an excess that we have to spend down.
That's good.
Yeah, I know that's been a concern of the. But the nitty gritty of that, I don't have.
But we will have that then in December.
Mm-hmm.
Littering fines?
Yep, the city attorney just had some technical corrections to the letter. I would ask, I'm happy to print them for you, but if someone would like to format them for Jesse's signature, that would be really helpful to make those changes. I think you guys had sort of approved this previously, and then we can, obviously. But I included his comments in the packet. So.
I'm looking at you. 'Cause you wrote the letter.
He didn't like my grammar?
There was
I
just
think
a
it's
couple of
stickler.
little suggestions, a comma here, and
Yeah, I didn't.
did you see it? Oh, there's like, no,
I can fix grammar though, if that's what we're waiting on.
Yeah, if you can make it, there's technical corrections.
That's what I was, okay, what are, yeah.
Yep, and then if you wanted to format the letter with addresses, if you send it to me as a Word document, I'm happy to print it out. It just be helpful if someone could take on just formatting a letter.
Got that?
Then you take it to Jesse for signature? Or
Yeah.
you'll take it to the attorney first, or you have to?
He's provided his comment. I think it's good.
I
So
see
it's
it.
not him who
You have-
signed it.
It's Jesse.
Jesse will sign
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, the city attorney is also named Jesse.
That's why I'm like,
Oh,
Oh.
that's why I'm
sorry.
like, which
I'll forward it.
one?
Yeah, I bet, sorry, I forgot that. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you, Amy, for
Sure.
that'll-
Oh, this is just grammar stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
No, I know.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll forward that to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought it was in our packet.
It was.
It is. I didn't print out the packet, so I just wanted to, and I missed the grammar corrections that he was pointing out. And the formatting of the letter, yeah.
Yeah, I can send you the city's, like, the
Letterhead.
look at it, but we have sort of like a letter.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I can put him on there.
Okay.
Next.
Park facilities, reservation, and permitting policies.
There were some questions about how stuff gets on the agenda, in terms of like requests for league reservations or specific requests So there's kind of two ways that works. A lot of them come from the clerk's office. So someone asks for something special. Someone asks for something special as part of a regular permit. They want to have a bounce house. They want to have something unique. And then in your packet is a copy of a form that was created just to kind of make sure that we're not just entertaining, can I do this kinds of requests, which is what we would get if we didn't give people a form. So they'll get a permit and something will need your review. And then that person will fill out this form and comes to the agenda. And there's some, if we determine that it's something that DPW can account for them. So then the other way is you, the commissioners, can place something on the agenda or request that it be placed on the agenda, and then the agenda is subject to the chair's. So ultimately, it's up to the chair what is or is not on the agenda. Most of that gets filtered through planning staff and the clerk's office. So that's kind of the short answer to that question.
But we don't put it on the agenda the night they walk in here. Like, I think that was the issue. The clerk's office sent that man here with a request that we were going to make a decision for that night, and we couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I typically require materials from the general public a week, the Friday. So like not last Monday, but the Friday before that, the general public would have to have a request to me so I can evaluate whether it's appropriate. Or they could give it to the chair. And if it filters from one of you guys or from the chair, I need a couple of days time to put together the packet and make sure that all of the material that's supposed to be there. So kind of like the internal deadline for the packet is typically the Tuesday before the meeting so that I can get it out on the Wednesday. But for the general public, it's that Friday. Not
So
the
is
Friday
it the
before.
Monday before the meeting, 1 week prior?
It's a week, but the Friday before the Monday before. That's terrible.
So 10 days
10
before
days,
the meeting?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, and if from the general public. So
Okay,
if you
yeah.
guys are requesting something to be on an agenda, it would be essentially the week.
Okay.
But sometimes, depending on staff schedule, and I don't always communicate this to you, but like if I'll do the packet a little bit early, occasionally, so it's best to, as soon as you know about something, send it along. So I actually got a request today for next month. And that's a but
I think part of this also, and I don't know if anybody else can back me up here, but the meeting that you were out when you were sick, well, that was when that man was here. But we wanted some discussion on what are Karen made those, that reservation policy and all that stuff, and I don't know where it should be posted somewhere or what, but we wanted discussion on what are we doing? Because it just seems like we have it and we're not doing anything with it. We're not following it, we're not doing anything.
Well, and even before, sorry,
No, yeah, I'm done.
I was just gonna back you up, but also to say the whole reason this is on our agenda, to my recollection, is exactly because a man was sent in here who had been told by the clerk or the clerk's department that he should attend this meeting tonight
Yeah, it
to
was
get
that night.
approval to use the pickleball courts. So we as a commission were saying we would like you to update the rest of the city staff, especially the clerk's department, that you're just going to piss people off if you send them in here and we can't even address it because it's not on our agenda. And so we knew, I mean, we maybe didn't know the details of the Friday before the Monday before the meeting, but we knew you couldn't just throw something on the agenda that day you know, but apparently the clerk's office doesn't because they sent him in here.
Yeah, I'm really.
So if you could just follow up with
Yeah.
that in a memo or however you communicate within this building, maybe that would be just a reminder, because otherwise people are going to be upset.
And he was,
then-
and it put us in a bad light.
He
I
was
think.
not happy. He thought we were trying to be unreasonable, but which I don't blame him. Like, he didn't understand the rules, but it was an awkward thing for us because we're like, no, like, we can't even talk about this because
Open
but
meeting law.
our
dictates.
meetings follow, and then, you know, you're trying to explain that to someone who is not even on one of these commissions, and they just think you're giving them the runaround.
Yeah.
So, and it's his time that we weren't respectful of as a city to send him in here for something we couldn't do. So,
And if we,
yeah.
that, but we also then need the rules because
And
we
then-
need to know what to follow.
I was just going to say, and then that followed on with Commissioner Stanley, I think both, and Commissioner Lance were talking about, is there like a list of, if someone rents out the park and they want to use the other addition, I'm trying to remember, but the
remember
adjoining
that either.
facility, is there a form that they fill
When
in?
we were just the Parks Commission, we had a discussion and made a motion for who can reserve it. And we did have a special exception noted in there. It was, you know, municipality did, you have it for the recreation department at schools.
Yes.
And then for private function, we would have special exceptions.
Depending on the function. or
Yeah,
something.
there was a slide. I just remember the slide being shown, and it had a list, and it was like kind of we're finessing with the verbiage to get it to say what we wanted. You can look back on notes and stuff, but it was a while ago.
Oh, it's at least 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And, well, I was just going to say, and then, because like the tournament that happened for 4th of July fell into what you were saying would be one of those special exceptions.
And it went to festival committee and didn't come here,
Okay. And
right?
what this guy was
He can-
wanting to do kind of seemed like it should fall into a special exception. It was for a nonprofit type community gathering thing but there's no rules around it. So we need
Yeah.
rules around it.
just to answer your question, what happened with that one was the planning commission for the civic festival
Yeah.
had already advertised it, and that's when the city realized they needed to route it through as a special exception for reservation
Oh,
of the
that's right.
courts. And he showed up and presented it in public comment, and then just disappeared. And then, so when we got to the point to vote on it, he wasn't here to answer any of our questions, remember?
I was out that month.
Oh, you were?
In June, yeah.
And then we passed it because it would have been embarrassment to the city to have put out we're having this
In the
pickleball
newsletter.
contest, and then, oh no, we can't because we didn't follow our own processes. So it just was like the best for the community to just move forward with it. And so we passed it.
And then we
With
had
a little
problems with
reservation.
it.
Because
Well,
we're
then we
setting
have-
a precedent, right?
And then they took down they cut the nets down, and then we had a problem. And so it was all kind of, when you were on vacation or wherever the heck
Don't
you
go
were,
to Europe.
it went crazy in your
I was on vacation and then I was sick.
And you were
So-
sick. You had
No,
COVID,
I
I
know,
think.
but that's why we want stuff on paper for how to handle it.
Yeah.
Maybe a flow chart.
So I just want to say I really like this review form. Yeah, it's really nice. So just an example, I was looking through the items reviewed by the commission. Is that all inclusive? Or like, for example, what I presented tonight with the enhancement to a park, would that kind of fall in there? I just want to make, okay, so that would fall under requests for new facilities, amenities, or parks? That,
Or park development plans.
so that would
It's kind of like sign or.
All right, I just want to, because it's kind of in the newness, I just want to make sure that if we have any, community actions, we're not excluded in there. You know what I mean? That it's not outside of this commission.
Yeah, and this form is actually on the planning portion of the city website. We have an applications area. So now I'm looking at it, I'm like,
What's it
maybe-
called?
There's like a development applications portion of the city website under the planning area, but this should be on.
It should be on the, oh, it was in the packet. It's the Parks Commission's request for review.
Oh, it is. Oh.
Yeah, it's a really nice form. I really like it.
Yeah, it's just what we would use in the planning department.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. But that's new though, right? Or have you had it for a while?
I created the original version of this for the dog, like after the dog park discussion.
Oh, oh, those.
The
what? The dog park.
So this is like the most recent version. And I think I've shown it to the commission before, so I just we're talking
Must
about
have
it
missed
again.
that.
So would this be something that if they filled out a permit and they wanted something that the clerk could give to them or tell them
Oh,
they
that's
should
a good
fill it
idea.
out and
Yep.
then,
What
in-
typically happens is that people get referred to me and I talk to them. So that if
Oh.
they have questions or I can clarify.
that's probably what happened then, is they went in the clerk's office and you were out and they didn't have, I mean, I'm not
Because
kidding.
it was
Yeah,
the day
it
of
was.
the
Yeah.
meeting.
And then they said, come down to the meeting and they'll, yeah, so.
Okay. And you said this is under our parks?
It is not
So
currently
currently
on
it's
the
under
first
plans.
portion of the website, but I will, if you guys are okay with that, we can put it under the commission.
Yeah.
portion.
Yeah, I think so.
Or at least
Well,
link
even
it.
just giving it to, when
Yeah.
they do fill out
Permit.
permit.
It should be
Yeah.
something that the clerk's office is aware of, needs to be, even if they talk, you talk them through it.
Yeah.
So when you're not here, they have
Yeah.
something to hand people. And, yeah. That would maybe solve.
And it's, now that you say that, it's like, oh yeah.
All right.
There be something on there about insurance?
There could be.
Is
Do
that
they
on the
need it?
permit?
We don't know if they need it.
I thought the insurance was when they had the bounce house.
The mayor has to. Somebody did. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
we
like,
said.
them, so you wouldn't need, I thought that the insurance portion was, you were required to show insurance from the bounce house company before you do it, and then we did away with no bounce
Yeah, we
houses
did
after
away
that
with it.
incident and having too many parks were getting damaged by them.
No, but you need proof of insurance.
Or what?
We'd have to know if it's needed.
That's why we have a deposit. They just don't deposit.
Yeah, so
Right?
this is in addition to the permit. Like typically, this is something is in
Right.
addition to a permit, with the exception of like all reservations or
If a contractor or an outside vendor is coming on the city property, they are required to show proof of insurance, certificate of insurance. So someone like the rock wall or
We had that food truck that one time, right?
They
And they
need
had to
to
show their
but
health inspection stuff and their permitting. Yeah.
we've curtailed that more so.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta ask now, Marion, you just said something. If they're gonna use the pickleball, and this is maybe why we need the criteria, I thought they had to rent a pavilion and get a permit for the pavilion to be able to reserve the pickleball. No.
the rec department doesn't have like the league reservations. Rec department.
No, not league, but like somebody like
Special exception.
special
That's
exception.
in
From way
addition
there.
to
Right.
the reservation of the,
So if like my daughter's birthday and you know,
Yeah.
14-year-old girls wanting to play pickleball, how would that kind
It's
of
first come, first served. We would, we have not put those on. Like, if it was like.
So
an
that's what we were
event,
talking about. If you
Yeah.
rented, like, for example, if you rented a pavilion at Ken Wendell, and then there's tennis courts there, and you wanted to also have pay an extra fee for your group to use the tennis courts. We're just doing a first come, first serve. You can't get,
All right,
okay,
but no, because
So
we
that's
made a
not
special exception for that
what
company that
happened
was having
before.
their employee party there.
Yeah.
And we did approve for them to have the courts.
Yeah, so there was like the decision that the commission took a while ago to have like recognized community groups also be able to request a
Well, that's-
reservation.
Okay.
So like a private birthday party would not qualify, but like,
We had said
Northwest-
citizens of the community, no, but organizations could apply for a special exception.
Okay. I'm just trying to think. So, like, the guy that came in was a citizen, but he wanted to do a cultural event, and he wanted to use the Southwest Pickleball Association's, like, sign-up site. So, I mean, I'm just wondering, like, do we know what we would, if it was a legitimate thing and he went through the process, is that something we could even ever approve? Or are we not doing that?
And I don't think we ever had in there that you can't charge. I don't recall that being in. That's why we need to look at that again, and we have to have it.
It's my
be-
understanding, the only people that serve the pickle recreation.
Yeah, but we
Anybody
were
else?
going to, remember before these courts were here, there was Pleasant View, and if somebody wanted to, we did talk about possibly renting them and what we would charge and all that.
Well, you've
And
had
we,
clubs
we
do
never
it.
have done anything with
You've
it.
had clubs reserve it,
But-
so it's not just.
But you don't have enough.
I guess it's what we're asking is like, give us a setup. Let's create this criteria of, is it got to be a nonprofit? Can it be any
Yes.
citizen organization as long as they're not doing a profit thing? What do we?
Isn't there an issue too with him charging?
He was
He was gonna charge.
a little bit. He kind of
But then he
twisted
said,
it
I
a
won't
little.
even charge if that's the problem.
Yeah, because
But I'm not talking about just him. Like, what are the rules? Is
Yeah,
what I'm
because
asking.
we did let my
There
neighbor
is.
through her church use Ken Wendell's pickleball courts
So a church.
a couple years
Can
ago.
a church do it?
And then remember that man from Whitewater? He has a club, and he did it at Vernonburg. But he rented the pavilion for 2 days, and he held a tournament over there.
He ended up charging.
But it was a fundraiser it was something that was going like back to the
And
community.
I know, but
Yes, he did.
Charged.
He did. So we do need those. We probably need those rules and update them.
But then even the civic celebration, they charged people to be in part of that tournament too.
No, that was
No, it
Yes,
was
they did.
$70.
They charged people, yes, they did. And they said, same kind of thing he was saying, it's to cover the cost of the trophies and the t-shirts. But that's where I'm saying we need if we aren't going to allow this, then I just want to know. If we are, then what are the criteria to allow somebody to do it? I'm not advocating one way or the other, but
We need to know.
we
the
need
rules.
to know.
yeah. We need the rules.
So we can always be fair and equitable to everybody that shows up with a request, and we can't even do that right now because none of us know.
well, and then we can also put them on the website.
Yeah,
They should be, but they probably need updating.
yeah. So would that be part of something that should be added to a form like this? I don't know.
I mean, potentially, the whole back is available. So, and on the permit forms, there's all the rules are on the back for the filming.
I started half hour.
Yeah, Patriots won on Sunday, so we're good.
What'd you say?
Patriots won on Sunday. So
Oh.
Show sports.
Let's see here. Franklin Woods Halloween decorations.
I will.
I have nothing.
It was great.
Everything
Sure.
go.
Were there any complaints?
That's
You're
for
in the
Kevin.
Parks and Rec Department's update. Were there?
Kevin?
I mean, in the maintenance department.
Were there any complaints about the
Halloween.
Halloween?
just when they got vandalized.
some of the pumpkins were. Did they call your office?
Yeah, and when there was some stuff that got torn, you want to put it back up.
A couple of, it was the pumpkins. I don't know why. Pumpkins. And
That's
then
right.
they stole it. There must have been kids. But,
I brought
well,
the
yes.
pumpkins.
Oh, the plastic ones.
No, oh, I brought
Well,
the
and
red
at
ones.
the very end, they did yours. I don't know why.
All right. New business, natural resource impact compensation guide.
Yep, so those of you that are former members of the Environmental Commission are probably familiar with this document. It's something that you helped draft. And I think everyone should have a copy at their seat if they didn't pick it up in advance, of the protection plan guidance. So this is an administrative policy that the city is proposing as an addendum to the Unified Development Ordinance requirements for natural resource protection. So it's kind of an overview of like, if you're going to have a natural resource impact, how do you evaluate the scope of what you're doing, and then how do you construct a plan for compensation? The ordinance is very clear that if you impact resources here in Franklin, you have to compensate for them here in Franklin. So if you take out a tree, impact a water body or a buffer, etc. So this was produced by Birchland Planning with the Environmental Commission input. The tree list is a result of some of that discussion, and also has seen input from the city forester. And Birchland Planning has a background broadly in environmental conservation ordinances, and specifically in stormwater management and green infrastructure. But so it's here for you tonight to review. I do know that the Table 4 does not comport with what actually was the adopted ordinance. These ratios were changed, but I haven't had a chance to update this document. So
What page is that?
it's on page 15 of the plan guidance document.
And you're saying this isn't accurate on that page?
Yeah, so there's actually, it's referring to a table 15702 of the Franklin, of the UDO. So whatever's in the ordinance currently, that's what this would be, ratios a little bit through the legislative process. So this was the December 10th, 2024 meeting of Environmental Commission session.
So this says draft, but then it says final incorporating the December 10th.
Correct, so this policy has not been adopted.
Okay.
And so you, as the Parks and Environmental Commission, or whatever it's called, are empowered with the administration of this document going forward. So what staff's asking from you today is to take a look at it and review it. Send any comments that you have on it to me, and I will collate those for discussion at the next meeting. And then make a recommendation about this document to Planning Commission and then Common Council to be adopted as an administrative policy, something that's not quite at the level of an ordinance, but would be something that we can give to developers and homeowners. Say, here's how you would approach the process of a natural resource special exception. In addition to the specific requirements of the ordinance, here's what our expectations are in terms of how you respond to compensation requirements. So, because that's something that has been a problem in the past and on an ongoing basis of, because the ordinance only gives those ratios in the table, we get kind of a broad variety of varying degrees of complete compensation, or in the past we referred to as mitigation plans from folks. Didn't have a lot of resources to point them to besides other previous approvals. So this would be you guys saying, in addition to the requirements of the ordinance, here's what we expect the stuff to include. So plant types, lists, those kinds of things. So I don't have like a lot of discussion about this tonight. This is so you can spend some time with the document before we have like an But I've also have been asked to kind of move this along too, so please do spend some time with it and then send me your comments so that we can forward it up. So, and I hope that you'll produce a document that you're comfortable with and proud of. So, yeah, because this does, I mean, we spent a lot of time on this already, but it can't move without your help.
So the environmental commission had been reviewing
I've
this?
reviewed the
Okay.
I just have two comments. One is, this will help applicants a lot if we can give this to, for example, if we gave this to the school and said, this is what you've got, if you meet what's in here, you're gonna get passed through a lot easier versus, putting in a seed mix that doesn't, or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, I've been sharing the draft, so.
Yeah, maybe once it's finalized. If we had a document like this that really gave somebody guidance on what we would accept and they did their due diligence, it should be an easier process for them. I guess I would say that, because you can't make someone do their own due diligence, but you can keep handing this back to them and going, well, you're not getting approved, but here you should be looking at this. And then the only other comment I have is, I'm wondering, is we used to have a 1 to 1.5 replacement for woodland, and I see this table 4. Is this where that came from? Now it's 1 to 0.75?
Yeah.
And this is where we adopted this in our new ordinance, so we can't go backward?
If that's something you wanted to amend, that is a proposal this commission could.
So just to clarify, and we can talk about it next time after you guys have had a chance to read this, our new ordinance says the replacement of, if you remove a large tree, you replace it with 0.75 new trees. In our old ordinance, if you remove a large tree, you replaced it with 1.5 new trees. So if you're taking out an 80-year-old oak tree, or 3 80-year-old oak trees, you now have to put 1.5 trees,
2.2.
little tiny trees back. It doesn't seem equitable to me, to the city, to us as its citizens, to say, if you take out an 80-year-old tree, you should replace it with 50 new trees. But at the very least, to me, it should be more than less than a tree. And I never knew where that came from, Marion. I was bothered by that. I was like, why do we have 0.75? And I bet it's from this darn table 4 that we missed. We missed this. So I would like to make a recommendation that we update. If you remove it, if we approve you move a tree in a special natural resource area, take out a woodland, you should replace it with 1.5 trees. Or at least an equal amount of trees, not less than, because we are getting less now. That would be one comment I'll ask again next time.
Next time, we're not doing a motion now? You're not making a motion?
No.
Well, I
We have
think
to
we should
review
bring it
it.
next
Right now,
time,
I'm
because
voting.
I think everyone should have a chance to look at this.
All right.
I'm not, just at a quick glance, what's the maintenance portion on the compensation? Like, are there any timelines for how long they have to be maintained?
I believe the text of actually the ordinance has some timelines for 2 years of maintenance on compensation provided so that it's established properly. The city does require financial sureties of a lot of different kinds of development. And so for like site plan or something that would typically be part of require financial sureties. On the landscape plan, that includes the mitigation. So, yeah, I'm currently working on one previously been to be established. Now they go back.
Oh, good.
But yes, that is something that actually there wasn't a time specified in the previous ordinance, and the new one does.
Oh, good.
I think it's
Yeah, because throwing
2
in
years sounds
seedlings and then expecting it to be an established woodland in 2 years, ridiculous, right?
Yeah, there's sort of a weighing that you have to do of like, is the plant surviving versus like how many actions you do, and the city forester also oversees woodlands, so that's something that it kind of ages out of the process and just the overall like maintenance. that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Thanks for the clarification.
Page 26 and 27, 4.2.2, financial guarantee, 3 years from the time of when. And it should be 3 years. 2 years not enough. 3 years not even enough in some species, but at least 2 years.
Yeah, and
Established.
under the previous ordinance, the commission had sometimes.
26 and 27. But yeah,
Oh, I see it here.
yeah. 4.2. It's financial with the heading.
I see.
So I think we can move on, but next time I will look at that.
Yep, and if you have comments that you want me to disperse to the rest of the commission, like during your process of review, please direct them to me, and then I'll put together like a of like here's what you guys are thinking that I can either send out beforehand or would include in the packet.
Tree initiative proposal.
This was Commissioner Valdez's proposal, so not here this evening.
We table this then?
I make a motion that we table tree initiative proposal until the chair back.
Second.
First and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We will table this until such time that the chair will bring this back. Proposal to rename Ernie Lake Park in honor of Parks Commission Chair Emeritus Anthony Tony.
So
There was a letter that was submitted back in 2020 to, in honor, to name it after Tony Magna because you have it in your packets. 57 years of dedicated, and everyone who was on the commission at that time signed it. And we had to wait 5 years for it to happen. But the idea isn't to rename Lake Ernie. I mean, Lake Ernie is Lake Ernie, and there should be a sign that's it's just named the park.
It says Ernie Lake Park.
No, that was Lake Ernie.
I think it's the park that's going to be renamed, not the lake.
And what's the park called?
Tony Magna.
But I mean, what is it called now? Ernie Lake Park? Lake Ernie?
I guess Lake Ernie is what people are
So
calling.
it's the lake, it stays the
The
same,
lake
but just
stays.
name the.
But, yeah,
Park.
like we named Bernbarg.
Oh, okay.
That were named after.
Oh, yeah, the
For the
doctor in that
service.
community park and the
Yeah.
soccer player that passed in the car
Basketball.
accident.
Christine.
Basketball
Christine.
player, yeah.
Radke,
Yep, Radke. Well, that'd be
and
nice.
Ken Wendell.
So what would be the process here then?
Do we want to say what we want to name it? I mean, would you want to say,
Yeah, in the motion, she should.
oh, I was just, as discussion, you want to name it Tony Magna Park, home of Ernie Lake or something.
I don't know, I just thought there should be a sign by the lake. Ernie.
Oh, I see.
A sign by the entrance to make like the Bernbarg.
Yeah.
Does any kind of thing have to go out to the public? I have to have a, you know that when
Otherwise.
No,
we
it's,
had Kayla's, we had to have it, it was from the city and it went out and it was publicized that if anyone had objections, that, but, yeah. I thought that's just the process that we were told, that if any naming, it has to go through.
Was
You
it?
know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, but I don't know if it might be different because was Kayla's put on an established park to begin with, or was that the establishment of a new facility? Because I think that might be the delineation.
Well, no, because on the sign it says Franklin Woods Nature Center, and then underneath home of Kayla's Playground. But even the naming of the playground had to go through this process, that it was put out to the public for any to comment on. And I mean, I remember
But it was
one,
it to the people in the district though, maybe only?
no, it was put out. You vividly remember one person standing up, yes, and voicing a strong opinion. I thought that, I was told that's the process for any name in the city.
I know there's
Right.
Well, maybe we just table it till we find out the rules.
Yeah, I can check with the, at a minimum, I would have to go to common council. You'd have to recommend it that way, but city attorney.
I'm looking at
Yeah.
some notes here. It says in the City of Franklin's agenda packet for March 15th, 2023, there was a resolution for establishing a city buildings, parks, and facilities naming policy. That's a starting point. March 15th, 2023.
Where are you reading that?
That Google thing.
My phone?
No, is it on our site? That's what I mean, on the city site.
It must be. It's searchable but somewhere.
And it's, what is it saying? There's,
You know, that might be something partial.
It just says that March 15th, 2023, the City of Franklin had a resolution titled Resolution Establishing a City Buildings, Parks, and Facilities Naming Policy. So that's kind of indicating that there is a formal naming policy. And it might be a good starting point if you don't know. Okay.
So Mary's making,
Mary Ann's
Mary's ma-
No, I,
Mary is making a motion to table.
we need a
is-
motion for that? Okay, I'll make a motion.
Mary.
I
Okay,
second
not
it. The motion is to push it to December's agenda with additional information about city policy for
So
naming.
I just have a friendly request or comment. Is there? It sounded to me like we have two options: one to do that, or two to go ahead and make a motion to approve it and send it to the planning commission or common council. And in the meantime, she checks what the policy is before it goes to common council. Because even if we push it next month, then it'll be the following month before it goes to common
Oh, it's
council.
been 5 years.
That's a good point, though.
Which is
Yes,
why
it
I
just-
was thinking, like, you could make a motion that we
Right.
change it, and then she finds out what else needs to happen before it could be approved from common council.
You think it would be better if, like, run it home off? Like,
No.
Ernie?
Do
Well,
all of our parks?
Oh, home
But if
of
that's
Lake
what they always
Ernie.
called the park. Why? And Kayla's
I don't-
playground was
yeah,
part
'cause
already of Franklin Woods.
Why don't you just call it
well,
Ernie?
Who's
there's
Ernie?
only
That's
one
what they're asking.
side.
Call it what?
There's only one
Ernie Lake
side.
Park.
It is
Oh.
called Ernie
Oh.
Lake Park.
I mean, not Ernie Lake.
How-
Tony
Disney.
Magna Park,
Magna
home
Park.
of Ernie Lake.
No, Lake Ernie.
Home of Lake.
That's what everybody calls it.
I've never
How
been
is
there.
it listed on our website of the park?
Who put this request in? You?
What?
Or it was just something you dug out from 5 years ago?
She's been on the
Haven't
On
I-
the
Parks
commission.
Commission for 20, 30 years.
But I'm just saying, like, who generated the request?
We need to name a park after Mary.
The
Right?
request.
Yeah,
there you
coming,
go,
Mary.
Mary.
That's
Home
coming.
of Mary Remington.
That's funny. Franklin.
Oh,
Let me look.
boy.
Franklin.
Ernie Lake Park.
Ernie
Ernie
Lake?
Lake.
Is it Ernie Lake Park or Ernie Lake?
Or Lake Ernie.
City of Franklin Parks. Ernie Lake Park.
Ernie.
Chapel Hill Drive.
Okay. Oh,
That's cute.
that's a nice picture.
On their bench.
That's a very nice picture.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
His wife? Oh. A little. Okay, yeah, right. He's done.
So are we changing? the
So
motion?
what are
Okay,
we,
I make a motion.
hang on 1 second. Do you want to, so right now we have a motion to table and it has been seconded. So is there any further discussion about the tabling aspect? Okay, so we have to go to a vote on the tabling, and
What
then if that fails, then we can entertain something else.
What would you recommend we do?
We had to think that long.
Wait, it's coming.
Yeah, I think I prefer to come back with the naming policy for you, so that you guys understand what's happening. And then I will also have clarity about whether to go plan commission and common council or any of that. So, okay, I see where you're coming from, but yeah.
Okay. So right now, the motion on the table is to table the renaming of the park till the next meeting. So we had a first, we have a second. I believe we're closing discussion. So all those in favor of tabling this item for the next meeting in December, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
First and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
What time is it?
It is
8:07.
8:07.